Hi the people, how you doing? So, the S21 Ultra just launched, and I have made a separate video about the S21 and S21 Plus as well, do check that out. But I wanted to keep the S21 Ultra separate because there are a number of new things here. And so, without any further ado, let's start off with the new design, because I think this is one of the more unique looking designs that I've seen in any smartphone. I think that this metal wrapping around and covering the camera module, it looks awesome, and it also in some way does provide more protection to the camera modules themselves, wherein each lens has this chrome ring around it that really makes it bold and it just stand out. It looks amazing in my opinion. I love the design. Pair that with the matte finishes with matte silver and the phantom black versions. Wow. I mean, Samsung even made a full-blown promo about how they came up with this black. I mean, well, I don't know, I'm not really sold on a promo, but hey, matte black, I'm all for it. Then of course, for the front, we have the Gorilla Glass Victus, as we have for the whole S21 series, and it's 6.8 inches, slightly smaller than the Note 20 Ultra here, but it's still ginormous. I mean, that is huge. So, the display, I think that it's the best display that Samsung's ever made, period. And I say so because this display on the S21 Ultra, it has had a major and proper upgrade. Because compared to the S20 series, we can now go up to QHD plus resolution. That's right, 1440p at 120Hz. Wow, I mean, damn, that is just impressive. It's just as good as the OnePlus 8 Pro had, and the S20 series and even the Note 20 series, none of them had it. And another amazing feature that we have on the S21 Ultra is that we have a more enhanced version of variable refresh rate. Now the S21 and S21 Plus, they have 48 to 120Hz. That's the variable range basically. For the S21 Ultra, we go a step beyond. We go from 10Hz all the way down to 10Hz to 120Hz. That's massive. And you know, when you're looking at say an image or anything like that, or maybe you're just reading an article and your screen is stationary, it can throttle down all the way to 10Hz. That can save a ton of battery life. And of course, the moment you start scrolling, well, I do hope that there is no latency, and if that is the case, then you would instantly get 120Hz, the smoothness, buttery feeling. And let's talk about performance and the chipset that we'll have. Now of course, the Snapdragon variants, it's a sure shot fact that we'll get definitely amazing performance with the 5nm base alongside amazing efficiency as well, because Snapdragon 888, it's the flagship processor that we can get for all flagships that are gonna come out this year. Maybe we'll get a plus version later, but that's a different story. For certain regions like in India, we are gonna get the S21 Ultra with the Exynos 2100. Now last year, the Exynos 990 was horrible, let's face it. Even Samsung faces it. And so with this Exynos 2100, Samsung made a teaser with some of the complaints that people had for the Exynos 990. So I would hope that Samsung basically improved on them. They understood the problems we had with efficiency and performance. And this time around, I'm cautiously optimistic about the Exynos 2100 being on par, just equalizing with the Snapdragon variants. It doesn't really have to go above and beyond and beat the Snapdragon variants. If it does, then it's good for us, you know, for those people who get the Exynos variants. Now let's talk about the juicy part, which are the cameras. We have a lot of them, just a boatload of cameras right there, because we have firstly the 108 megapixel camera. This time is the second generation. I believe it has much better dynamic range and all that. It has certain minor upgrades that just make the whole sensor better as a whole. Then we have the ultrawide camera. It is the same 12 megapixel camera. I mean, the ultrawides, in my opinion, are just the best on Samsung flagships. And I have a feeling, small feeling, that it might be the same case for the 2021 Samsung flagships as well, the S21 Ultra included. Then we have a 3x telephoto zoom. Now why do we have that, you may ask? Well, basically, because of the fact that there are two telephoto zooms, one 3x telephoto and another 10x telephoto, Well, the range between the main 1x zoom and then 10x zoom is massive. And not everybody would find it useful to zoom in 10x every single time to get the full-blown quality. Instead, there is this medium portion that is 3 times or 2 times zoom that is used very often for portraits, for just cropping in a little bit. 3 times zoom is, in my opinion, ideal. And so that is, I think, the reason why we have 3 times zoom at all, because last year I definitely remember that the Note 20 Ultra had this problem wherein whenever we were to shoot a portrait, if you don't shoot at 1x zoom, you don't really get the full detail. And if you want to go to 2 times zoom, you're gonna have to crop in digitally, and that would result in better framing for a portrait as a whole. But because you're cropping in instead of actually using optical zoom, you would end up getting much worse detail. It was visible. And so the Note 20 Ultra, for a very good example, it didn't really have a good optical zoom for portraits. I do hope that the S21 Ultra manages to fix that with its 3 times zoom. As for the 10 times zoom, I gotta say 10 times optical zoom, that is very impressive. I think only one other phone has it. It's what's it called? The Huawei P40 Pro Plus, if I'm not mistaken. I think that one had a 10 times zoom as well. And of course, that's a last year's flagship, but nonetheless, having 10 times zoom, man, the versatility on these cameras, that could be quite something to behold. I mean, damn, 10 times zoom. I cannot wait to try that out. I mean, the camera comparisons are gonna be wild. Anyways, I digress. Well, we have another sensor on the back. It is the laser autofocus sensor. We have the same one, I believe it's the same one from the Note 20 Ultra. Now this sensor was put in the Note 20 Ultra specifically to fix the autofocus issues that plagued the S20 Ultra. Then of course we have other stuff in terms of the video, where we can have director's view mode. It's gonna give you the preview for all the lenses when you're shooting video, whether it's 4K 30, 4K 60, or any of the 1080p modes. You can shoot 4K 60, by the way, with all the lenses. We didn't have that before. We could only do 4K 60 with the main camera, and we had to switch after stopping the recording to other cameras. So it was kind of annoying, and not being able to use 4K 60 seamlessly was kind of a drawback. Now, not so much. We can have much better, super high quality 4K 60 footage from all the cameras. Then of course there are obviously gonna be improvements to night mode. Then the AI, basically, you know, the software processing, Samsung stressed quite a bit that a lot has improved in there, because it did stress that a lot of portrait features have improved. Apparently the skin tones, I hope to God they have improved, because the Note 20 Ultra and S20 series, they had nice skin tones, but they really weren't great to the point that you could just rely on them to give amazing pictures when it came to portraits and human subjects as a whole. Finally, we have the selfie camera. It is the same 40 megapixel camera from the S20 Ultra. Now we didn't have that on the Note 20 Ultra, so the fact that we have such a high res and fairly high quality selfie camera, well, I gotta say that's fairly impressive, and for the price, it is, again, a lot of numbers and a lot of features that you're getting. Just sheerly from a hardware perspective, you're getting a ton of things, and I think that is impressive. I think that is just fantastic. And one thing that I believe I forgot to mention for the S21 and S21 Plus impressions was that we do not have any micro SD expansion anymore. Then we of course have this insanely huge battery, again 5000 milliamp hours, crazy numbers, and I hope that this time around the numbers mean something, because last year we did not have great battery life from the Exynos versions in particular. The Snapdragon variants were fine to begin with, but the Exynos Note 20 Ultra, for example, here, it never really had tremendously good battery. It was fine, it was alright, but it was never really amazing or jaw-droppingly good. Now, one thing that I'm particularly intrigued by is that we have S Pen support for the S21 Ultra, and it's limited to the S21 Ultra. Now it intrigues me because we don't get an S Pen, we have to buy a separate S Pen, and it's like, do we really need S Pen on the S21 Ultra? because we already have a Note lineup for it. I get it. The support for it means that yes, you can buy an accessory if you really wanted it. It costs around $30, maybe $50. I'm not entirely certain, but it kind of opens up new possibilities, such that on the Note 20 Ultra, I have enjoyed using this particularly because I'm an artist, and for me, being able to just, sketch and make new artworks on my smartphone, that's fantastic. I don't think that I need any other reason to use a Note 20 Ultra other than that. Like, obviously, having an entirely different platform to make artworks, I'm all about it. It's interesting and I like doing it. I enjoy it a lot. The low latency and the very refined S Pen experience on the Note 20 Ultra was fantastic for me. Now, we do have that experience getting carried over to the S21 Ultra, but you're gonna have to spend some extra money to get the S Pen experience. Now, I don't know if that's gonna be worth it or not, because not a lot of people use the S Pen continuously and a lot, kind of like I do, because not everybody is an artist, not everybody is interested in making artworks on their phones. They want to use their smartphone as a smartphone. I can say I'll miss the S Pen from the Note 20 Ultra, but at least we have the support. That's what I'm trying to say here. Also, charging. The Apple trend is upon us, apparently. Xiaomi dropped their chargers on the Mi 11. So goes the charger and the earbuds actually from the box of the S20 series as a whole. We do not get any chargers, and well, I mean, I don't mind because I always use wireless charging and I don't think I have used wired charging in a while now. But if you were hoping that you'd get a charger, well, a flagship $1,200 phone is not gonna give you a charger from now on. I think it's gonna be the trend for 2021. Not something I particularly like, again, but hey, that's just how it's gonna be. We all knew this was coming. The moment Apple even got rumored to drop their chargers, we knew every Android company would follow through, and that is exactly what's happening. So, yeah. Anyways, of course, there will be a lot more about the S21 Ultra coming up soon. I do hope I can get that very soon. So, yeah, do stay tuned for that. And of course, I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be seeing you guys later. Cheers.